Welcome to the Basics module in the Work and Benefits training series. This training is by no means to make you a benefits expert, but to give you the seeds to grow your knowledge. We all have different levels of understanding, and our participants have different levels of benefits. Ask questions, be curious, consult. I'm Shelley Piquette, your Ticket to Work program specialist. I work with my manager, Chris McVeigh, and the Strategic Initiatives team. I joined Minnesota BR in late December of 2019. For over 33 years, I've provided employment supports to adults and transition-age students with disabilities. I've held many different roles, from direct supervision at local employer sites to case management with our employment supports and the Ticket to Work program. I am a community partner work incentives counselor, also known as a CPWIC, through Virginia Commonwealth University, and also a certified benefits coach and co-trainer through the Hub in collaboration with DHS. Our learning objectives are to develop your basic knowledge of work and benefits, recognize when to have benefit conversation, increase your comfort level talking about benefits to VR participants, and identify resources available for benefits planning. To start off, we want to draw attention to some common acronyms Social Security uses to refer to different parts of their work. On the slide, we'll walk through some of the acronyms you may encounter when talking about benefits planning. The more exposure you have to these terms, the more familiar they will become when hearing them in meetings or with individuals you are serving. Many of these acronyms you may know, and several originate from the topic of benefits planning. These acronyms are reflected on the Ticket to Work and Benefits Planning desk aid, which can be found on the VRS SharePoint site. As you may notice throughout this series of trainings, Ticket to Work and Benefits Planning are very much connected and support each other. SSA stands for the Social Security Administration. SSDI is Social Security Disability Insurance, sometimes called RSDI or Title II. SSDI has two additional categories under which benefits can be received. One being CDB, Childhood Disability Beneficiary, also referred to as DAC or Disabled Adult Child, and DWB, Disabled Widow, Widower's Benefit. SSI, which Supplemental Security Income, is a Title 16 benefit, which is for elderly, low income, and individuals with disabilities with little or no work history. SSI is distributed from the General Revenue Fund. A BPQY is a benefits planning query, a report from Social Security which provides details of the benefits and work history, as well as medical review and health insurance information. COLA, C-O-L-A, refers to the annual cost of living adjustment. A few more acronyms. A CWIC or CPWIC are certifications held by benefits planners. MA, Medicaid in Minnesota, is called medical assistance. MAEPD is medical assistance for employed persons with disabilities. TWL, trial work level, is a benchmark earnings level during the trial work period. And TWP is the trial work period, which is the initial 9-month employment phase. SGA is substantial gainful activity. It's the benchmark earnings level following the trial work period. The EPE is the extended period of eligibility. It's another SSDI phase following the trial work period. Impairment related, IRWE, is the impairment related work expense, which is a work incentive from SSA. BWE or BWE is the blind work expense, another SSA work incentive. In Minnesota, our hope is to follow trends that all Social Security beneficiaries make informed choices about their benefits and their employment goals as required by RSA. We need to offer benefits planning to all Social Security beneficiaries early and often. If an individual chooses not to pursue employment at the substantial gainful activity level, We respect that. Regardless of how the individual responds to benefits planning conversations, the topic of benefits planning should be revisited throughout their VR services. The goal is to have conversations about benefits early and often. The more someone has information about how their benefits are going to be impacted, the more prepared for the changes in their benefits. The points in time to have conversations about benefits, work and benefits, are based on the unique needs of the individual and their individualized employment plan. There is no set schedule to follow. Discussed in the work and benefits informed choice module are common occasions when benefit conversations may surface. On the next few slides, we'll cover some of the general benefits that people may receive, such as SSDI, or sometimes called RSDI, SSI, and a couple healthcare options. People can be receiving one, two, or several benefits at the same time, and each one may have different rules and requirements. It's good to know at least the basics and also know where to connect with resources for both you and the individuals you serve. At the end of this training, there's a resource list for you to consider when you require additional benefits planning information. Let's start by taking a glance at SSDI. It's okay not to be the expert, but it's important to know the basics. SSDI is a cash benefit a person can receive when they are unable to engage in substantial gainful activity level work because of a physical or mental impairment, which is expected to result in death or last at least 12 months. The benefit amount is dependent on the amount paid into FICA and is different for all recipients. Someone had to work in order for this benefit to be received, whether it be the individual, a parent, or a spouse. Now that you know SSDI is a cash benefit, let's discuss a few specific work activity terms as they relate to SSDI. This is a broad overview, and to dive deeper, contact a benefits planner. There are different phases within SSDI initiated by work activity, and it's important to know what phase an individual may be in. The trial work period is a 5-year rolling time period for someone to try working and earn as much as they can, where their benefit check will not be affected. The trial work period is 9 months, but these 9 months do not need to be consecutive. However, within a 5-year period, if 9 trial work period months are completed, the trial work period is over. The person then enters the extended period of eligibility, which is a 3-year, 36-month consecutive period during which any time countable earnings are above the SGA level, the individual is not due a cash benefit check, as the benefit is considered in suspense. If the earnings are below SGA, the cash benefit is due the individual. SGA levels typically are adjusted each year when Social Security announces the cost of living adjustment. Click on the link within the EPE section to identify the current year SGA level. Once the extended period of eligibility is over, an individual enters the post-extended period of eligibility. During this period, when countable earnings are above SGA, the cash benefit will terminate. After the trial work period for SSDI, it is an all or nothing cash benefit, meaning you are either due or not due the cash benefit. Often beneficiaries do not know which phase they are in. To fully identify where someone is at, contact a benefits planner. Earnings for SSDI are counted when a work activity occurs in a month, from the first day of a month to the last. For example, what was the total earned from March 1st to March 31st? However, there are work incentives, which are special rules that can assist the beneficiary during the transition from work into self-sufficiency. Those will be discussed next. Some of these work incentives, when applicable, can reduce the countable earnings to below SGA, and the eligibility for the cash benefit remains. Others can be a safety net provided by Social Security to return to cash benefits status. Those work incentives can include impairment-related work expenses, which are disability or health-related expenses that allow someone to work. This amount can be deducted from countable earnings. There is no list of allowed impairment-related work expenses. Social Security needs to determine. Subsidy and special conditions are supports or added supervision you receive, which can also reduce your countable earnings. There are also two others that may apply. Income averaging for sporadic earnings. Unsuccessful work attempt is substantial gainful activity level earnings for a short period of time that was unsuccessful. The final one mentioned in this training is expedited reinstatement, a safety net to resume benefits within 5 years of termination if someone is no longer able to work at SGA activity level. Only Social Security can approve a work incentive. This is when you'll want to bring in a benefits planner. SSI is a needs-based program funded through general tax revenue for those individuals who are disabled, blind, or over age 65 with limited income and resources. SSI individuals need to meet the same definition of disability as those who receive SSDI, but they are two different benefits with different rules and work incentives. There is a maximum benefit a person can receive, which may change each year with the SSA announcement of the cost of living adjustment. SSI also has an asset limit of $2,000 for an individual and $3,000 for a couple. As I mentioned previously, there is a maximum benefit amount that an individual can receive. Since it is needs-based, anything you receive, such as unearned or earned income, which can meet those needs, is processed through the SSI calculation, which is basically a $20 general disregard, and if working, an earned income disregard. The result, after subtracting these two amounts, is divided by 2 to a result called countable income. Using the maximum benefit amount for the current year, subtract this countable income result to identify the anticipated benefit check amount. Another note, earnings received in 1 month are typically reflected on the benefit check received 2 months later, retrospective accounting. For example, March earnings affect the May SSI cash benefit check. Income is counted when it is received based on paycheck dates. If greater details on the SSI calculation are desired, contact a benefits planner. There are work incentives, which are special rules that can assist the beneficiary through the transition from work into self-sufficiency. Those will be discussed next. SSI has work incentives, which may be applied within the SSI calculation to reduce the countable earnings for an individual. Those work incentives are impairment-related work expense, disability or health-related expense that allows somebody to work. There is no list of allowed impairment-related work expenses. Social Security needs to determine. Blind work expense, or BUE, for individuals with vision impairments on their Social Security impairment record. Student earned income exclusion for students under 22 attending school time. The link to more details on the student earned income exclusion is on the PowerPoint slide. Plan for achieving self-sufficiency, a PASS plan, is a means to increase the SSI payment to use for education or self-employment costs. PASS plans need to be approved by Social Security. 1619B keeps SSI eligibility. The individual needs to continue to meet the SSI asset limits. All work incentives require approval by Social Security. If there's a potential application of one, this is a great time to consult. To summarize, here we have a quick glance summary of SSDI and SSI. Both follow the same eligibility definition, but they are two different benefits with different rules. Always verify which benefit a person is receiving before giving advice or reach out and consult. Some individuals receive both, and both rules need to be followed. Consult if you need more information or direction. For SSDI, you are either due your monthly cash benefit or not due your monthly cash benefit. It's an all or nothing. Check amounts are based on previous work history, based on the earnings record of the individual the benefit is being drawn from. For SSI, the maximum benefit amount is determined in the Social Security Cost of Living Adjustment Notice. The benefit check amount may fluctuate due to earned and unearned income once processed through the calculation. Individuals receiving SSI under age 18 will need to go through an age 18 redetermination if benefits are to continue. This is a high-level overview. If you need additional information, there are resources listed later in the training, and also a reminder, you can always consult with a benefits planner. As you continue to work with the individuals to meet their employment goals, at some point we hope they start working. This is where the rubber meets the road, and why the counselor needs to have conversations early and often about the person's work goals and benefits. Reporting earnings is required for SSDI. The general reporting periods are when the person starts or stops work or increases work or hours or earnings, or increases hours or earnings. Earnings are considered from the first day of the month to the last day of the month. For example, March 1st to March 31st. SSDI is an all or nothing benefit based on countable earnings. They are either due a cash benefit or not due a cash benefit. Work incentives, if applicable, can reduce the countable earnings to below SGA, and the person remains eligible for the cash benefit. For assistance in determining if a work incentive is applicable, consult with our benefit expert resources. In addition, be mindful that earnings could impact the individual's healthcare benefits, housing, or possibly other benefits received. If in question, consult. Now let's switch to SSI. Paychecks need to be reported by the 6th of the month following the month earnings were received in. For example, March paychecks need to be reported by April 6th. Generally, those earnings will then be reflected in the May benefit check after SSI runs it through their calculation process. Work incentives may also impact the calculation. To know more about the detailed calculation process, consult benefit expert resources. As stated with SSDI, when a recipient of SSI is working, be mindful that earnings could impact the individual's healthcare benefits and possibly other benefits received. If in question, consult. Note, if someone is receiving both SSDI and SSI, they must follow the rules of each benefit and the reporting requirements. As these are general steps for earnings reporting, Social Security may require further documentation. Follow their instructions. VRS and community partners do not report income to Social Security. It is the individual's responsibility to report earnings. It may be helpful to inform the individuals we don't provide the service of income reporting, but if applicable, you may need to share reporting requirements with their support team. As we just stated, it is the individual's responsibility to report changes in earnings, both earned and unearned. However, it is best practice for VR staff to remind or inform the individual of this responsibility. Depending on the SSA cash benefit, common occasions are monthly for SSI, and for SSDI, starting and stopping work, or increase in hours or decrease in hours, or when Social Security sends a work review request. If not reported, Social Security will assume earnings remain as previously reported until they are able to verify. Consequences of not reporting or not reporting timely to Social Security could include the dreaded overpayment, where the individual needs to address how the repayment or response will commence, or it could involve that the individual is not being paid what they were due because of underreporting. For example, if you are reporting 500 in earnings and you stopped reporting, Social Security will assume it's the same. But if the earnings had in fact dropped to 300, they may not be receiving the entire benefit they were due. In either situation, the person may be asked to clarify previous work activity if not reported, which can be difficult to do depending on how far back they need to report on. If the individual you are working with finds themselves in an overpayment or underpayment situation, refer them to a benefits planner. A list of these resources is coming up later in this training. Now let's shift and briefly look at a couple of healthcare options. We'll start with Medicare. Medicare is for those who are receiving SSDI. There is a 2-year waiting period after eligibility for SSDI is started before Medicare is received. While waiting, or if they meet income limits, individuals on SSDI can also apply for MA, and if working, may be eligible for MAEPD. We'll talk about MA on the next slide. There are multiple parts to Medicare. Some include premiums, and there may be assistance to help cover the cost of premiums. Consult with a benefits planner for more information. When SSDI recipients work, they may be eligible for MAEPD. The monthly premium is based on both earned and unearned income. As we've stated many times, you are not expected to be the benefits expert, but there are certain times when it's advisable to reach out to the benefits planner for information or clarification. If an individual expresses concern about premiums or healthcare costs, there are premium assistance options available to those who are eligible. A benefits planner can help explore those. Benefit planners can also help identify how an increase in work or earnings may impact their healthcare benefits. Now let's move on to medical assistance, or MA. Medicaid in Minnesota is called medical assistance. It is the primary healthcare for those receiving SSI. Though linked to SSI, the MA application still needs to be submitted to the person's local community human services office. 1619B is a work incentive for SSI individuals to maintain their eligibility for MA when their cash benefit reaches 0. They still need to remain below the SSI asset limit. Recipients of SSDI or other individuals can also receive medical assistance if they meet income and assets. Medical assistance for employed persons with disabilities is a wonderful benefit for individuals who are working to be able to buy in and maintain their eligibility for medical assistance, regardless of how much they are earning. Generally, waiver programs are funded by medical assistance. As we've stated many times, you are not expected to be the benefits expert. There are certain times when it is advisable to reach out to the benefits planner for information or clarification. For medical assistance, be aware that there are income and asset limits that may impact someone's eligibility. Benefit planners can assist with identifying which type of MA a person is receiving, understanding their individual income and asset limit, and help identify how an increase in work or earnings can impact their healthcare benefits. There are other healthcare options in Minnesota. You can seek out more information through benefit resources or speaking to a benefits planner. It is common for the individual we work with to not fully understand what type of benefit they're receiving. Some examples are field staff encounter our youth benefits, which can change at age 18. The person's receiving on another person's work record, like a spouse or parent. The individual reports they're receiving one type of benefit, but our verification says they're receiving something else. Other than our own VR verification process, there are other options to verify benefits received. They are My Account at SSA.gov, which is set up by the individual themselves, where they can obtain a benefits letter. A DB1 benefits lookup, which requires a release of information, or on their own, through their MyVault account, they can request benefit information be emailed to anyone they choose. SSA Benefits Awards Letter. Just a note, VRS Chapter 1 guidance has a list of benefits verification that includes additional resources. If you have any questions about verifying benefits, reach out to the VRS Ticket to Work program specialist. As you can see, there are other types of benefits such as food assistance and housing. This training does not cover these. Many benefits can be impacted by work and earnings. We don't expect you to know the ins and outs of each, but be aware they exist and that work can impact these benefits as well, and where to reach out for help. There are many different agencies that provide these resources, including our Minnesota Independent Living Centers, Minnesota Work Incentives Connection, Minnesota DB 101 hub sites, as well as CRPs who have benefit planning services listed on their contracts. If the individual knows their SSA representative, they can also be a great resource. There is no wrong door to gather information when using the resources listed here. All of their training originates from Social Security and their approved resources. Within our Minnesota VRS SharePoint, under Counseling and Placement Resources, we have many tools for benefits planning and Social Security work incentives like COLA, C-O-L-A, cost of living adjustment. Along with the previous mentioned resources, there are opportunities to increase your knowledge and dive deeper. Talk with your supervisor about your interest and reach out if you desire additional information. The Hub has a section for professionals, which take a person through the levels of benefits planning up to the level 3 certified benefit coach training, which is offered quarterly. The ILVR dedicated spots and waiting lists for the benefit coach training are managed by the Ticket to Work program specialist. Minnesota Work Incentives Connection offers specialized training as well as their annual community informational meetings. The Red Book is a readable resource for you to gain more knowledge on the work incentives available to Social Security beneficiaries. In addition, the formal training opportunities require time commitment to complete. In any of these instances, you should be having conversations with your manager. As your Ticket to Work program specialist, I'm available to assist VR staff in navigating the array of benefits planning resources available to us in Minnesota. This training, along with other benefits modules, is meant to provoke thought, questions, and discussions around benefits planning and its role in VR. It's okay not to be the expert, but it's important to know how and where to find the information. As always, consult, consult, consult.